Okay, so let's talk about putting a floor system in. In this case, we have to, we talked last week about what the floor system is made out of, and it's 18-inch deep floor trusses with 3/4 inch tongue and grooved subfloor on top of that. And then on top of that, there's going to be 1 inch of gypcrete, which is a fireproofing, sound deadening layer. Okay, so first off, we're going to go to floors over here on the top toolbar. And it's going to default to maybe a generic 12-inch. So if we click that down arrow, we can look down and see if we can find something that is close to what we want it to be. So down at the bottom, the last one that shows up probably is a wood truss joist 12-inch with a carpet finish. Now maybe that's the one we want to start with and develop from that. So I'm going to click on that one. Then I'm going to go to edit the type, and I'm going to rename it. So we're going to do wood truss. I'll rename it. I'll duplicate it first off, right? Wood truss 18-inch. And I'm going to get rid of the carpet, and I'm going to put gypcrete on there. And you might say, why don't I leave the carpet? Because we're probably going to have carpet in this building anyway. Well, I don't want it in this floor system. If I want to add carpet or tile or whatever, I'm going to create a separate floor for that. And I'll explain that to you later. But at this point, I just want the gypcrete. Not that you couldn't create it that way. It's just that it's a different way I'm going to do it. So I'll say OK. And then I'll go to edit the structure. Up here where it says finish, I'm going to go in here under material, and I'm going to create that gypcrete. Okay, so I'm over here, and I'm going to try find gypcrete in this list, but it's not there. But it's a gypsum product, so I have gypsum board and I have gypsum wallboard exterior. I'm going to take gypsum board, right click, and duplicate it. And now I'm going to rename it. Okay, and then I'm going to go check the material. And it says it's gypsum wallboard exterior. I'm going to change that to gypsum I'm going to call it gypsum sound floor. And under appearance, I think I'll just leave it as a generic appearance. It doesn't really need to have anything else on it. That should change, but it didn't. Okay, we'll say that that's done. Okay, and then I'll go. Okay, so gypsum. I put gypsum wallboard in there. Why did I do that?
Because you somehow selected that one.
I somehow selected that one. It didn't change. There it's gypcrete. And I'll say OK. Now it's gypcrete. and it should be 1 inch, right? Okay, then inside my core I have the subfloor, which is plywood. It could be OSB, it could be plywood, but I'll leave it at plywood. 3/4 inch thick, and then my structure is going to be my wood joist rafter layer, but it's really trusses, right? I could change it to rename it to trusses if I wanted to, but it's not that critical. And I'll change this to 18 inches. Okay, so that's really my floor system right there. Okay, so the floor trusses sit on the top plate of the wall. The subfloor sits on top of that, and the gypcrete then will be at our second floor level, right? Okay, so we'll say okay. So now I'm ready to start putting it in here. It shows up over here with the right name. The level, I'm going to put it at the level of the second floor. The height offset from the level is 0, that's correct. No other changes that need to be made. It's telling me the thickness of this floor system is 1'7 3/4. That's the 18 inches plus the 1 inch gypcrete plus the 3/4 inch subfloor. Okay, so I'm ready to start putting it in. So if I hover over a wall, it should put in that pink or magenta line color. And I'm just going to go around my building, assuming it's putting it in the right place. It may not be. And it didn't go around my entrance vestibule on my building because that's only going up 1 floor. It's not going to the height of this floor yet, so it didn't go around that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in close though because I want to make sure that's in the right location. And I should go to thin lines. And it lined it up where? On the outside. Can everybody see that? It lined it up on the outside edge of my wall sheathing. Is that right? I have the stud, then I have the sheathing line, then I have the siding line, right? And do I want it to the outside edge of that sheathing? No. I'm going to leave it there just to show you what goes wrong. It should be on the outside edge of the stud. But I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to finish it. And it's going to ask me if it tells me it's overlapping the roof. Do I want to join it? No. Okay. So now if I look at this section that I've created, happens to go through my stairwell, but you can see here that the floor is going all the way to the sheathing. Now if I were to click on the floor and join it, join my floor and my wall, you'll see that it goes all the way through to the siding, right? And that wouldn't be right. We want the sheathing to go up past there. So I'm just going to undo that. And I'm going to go back. I need to go back and edit my floor. So we can edit the floor at any time. So if you just click on the floor in this view and you went to, I'm in the middle of another command here, I think. If I go to edit the boundary, it's going to tell me I can't edit it in the section view. Which view do you want to edit it in? If I click on the first floor plan and open that view, it takes me back to where I started, right? Okay, so now I can go in here and I can look at this and I can take this and move that from there to there, huh? If I go around my building, I get and place it where I want it. So in other words, if you put it in wrong, you can always go and change it. You don't have to erase and start over. Then I can finish it. Go back to that section view again. And now you can see it is lined up correctly. The other thing I want you to notice here is that when I put the gypcrete in, I put it outside the core, right? The only thing inside the core is the subfloor and the truss itself. and I want the subfloor to go under my wall of the upper floor, but I don't want the gypcrete to go under the wall of my upper floor. So if I go to join this now, you'll notice that the gypcrete stopped at the wall, and the subfloor, because it was part of the core, went under the wall. Make sense? Because the gypcrete gets poured in afterwards. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to cut a hole for this stairwell that's going up through my floor. So again, I'm going to click on the floor, go edit the boundary, go back to the first floor plan, and now I want to edit the boundary of this floor because of the stairwell. Okay, so I'm going to go to the line command. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to draw a line from the back side of the sheetrock and where do I go down to? Well, I'm going to go down to here. I'm going to go across, bring it back up to here. I want this wall that's on the outside of my landing to go all the way from the first floor to the second floor, to the roof. So that's going to be like a balloon framed wall. So in this case, I'm going to split this outside line, and then I can chamfer these together. Okay, so my floor is going to come over to the stairwell, around it, and back out. Okay, so I want that to be on the back side of my gypsum board, which this one isn't, so I need to move that. Check on this one over here, that's on the back side. But down here, I want it to end at where the stairway ends at the upper level, right? So trying to figure out the stairway, I could say, okay, I put it in line with this one, or this wall here. Let's just see what happens. I'll finish that, and we'll say what we'll say. Is that in the right location? I don't know. Okay, so I got that hole in there. If I go click on my stairwell, this is the line of that hole now. We can see it. If I go look at my building as an isometric, we should be able to see this hole. There it is, right? And if I orbit this around, we'll see that the hole isn't where the top riser is. Okay, so we'll go back and look at it from the first floor plan view again, or the section view I meant to say. Okay, so here's the wall, the line, and here's the top of the stairway. So I need to move this from here to here, so I think I'll just try to find out what that distance is by putting a dimension in there. And it's 8 7/8 inches off. Okay, I can escape from that. I can click on my floor and go edit the boundary, go back to the first floor, and take this line and move it 8 7/8 inches. Okay. Now, looking at that, you might say, well, that doesn't look right because this is where the wall is, but this is the wall of the first floor, not the wall of the second floor. This is the first riser on the first floor, so it's going up and ending there, right? So it's ending here, not in line with that first one. Okay, I'll finish that. We'll see how that looks. Back to that section. Okay, so now it looks like it lines up with that riser. You'll notice that there's no nosing here because it's a floor system. It didn't know how to put a nosing on, so we'll probably have to draw that on later. But we have the stairway in the right location. The wall that we saw in the plan view was this one down here. So obviously I'm going to need another wall or a railing or something up at the top of the stairs.